everyone, how's it going? Today we are up in the big raised bed garden and I'm sitting beside our Ollie garden that we put together just a few videos ago. I showed you how to put this beautiful bed together and told you a little bit more about it. If you're interested in a metal bed like this and you want to learn more, go ahead and check out that video. I'll link it in the cards above. But for today, I wanted to talk about how you can fill a big raised bed like this. So this raised bed is about 17 inches deep, which is pretty deep. And if you wanted to fill this entire thing with soil, you could, but that's probably going to take a good amount of soil. So I wanted to talk about some options that you can fill your raised bed with. So the first thing whenever we're talking about filling a raised bed like this is you want to think about things that are organic and that will break down over time. You don't really want to fill the bottom of the raised bed with anything like rocks or plastic. I've even seen like peanuts, packing peanuts, people doing that sort of thing. I'm not really into that whole thing. I would prefer to put things in the bottom of my raised bed that would break down and add to the soil and add to the nutrients over time, as opposed to just sitting there and kind of just taking up space, I guess. So you can fill your bed with things like sticks. I've even seen people use logs, things like wood chips and leaves, which is what we use today. So what I did to fill this raised bed is first I put a layer of wood chips. Now these were freshly chipped wood chips that we had. Our neighbor just across the road had cut down some trees and chipped up all of the limbs, and they offered those to us, and that's what I used as the base layer in this garden bed. The next layer I consider my compost layer. So this is all stuff that you would throw into a compost bin, whether it be kitchen scraps, garden waste, yard debris like leaves and grass clippings, anything like that. So I throw all of those things into a big pile and I just let them slowly break down over time. I don't necessarily watch over it and like take real good care of my compost. I kind of just throw all my scraps in one place and occasionally turn it, and it eventually turns into compost. So after the compost layer, I added a layer of sifted topsoil and mushroom mulch blend. So I got the sifted topsoil and mushroom mulch mixed together from a local landscaping company that supplies it to me. They bring it to me and I started to fill the rest of the bed with that. I filled it almost to the top with that soil and mushroom mulch mix. Then I also took some composted horse manure and bedding that my neighbor has. They brought it down for me and I added that to the bed as well. I mixed it all together and that made a really nice, light, fluffy, and nutritious top to my soil. Now, the reason that I use so many different things in my raised bed is because I really come from the place of believing that if you have a lot of different sources of compost and nutrients, that it really helps to diversify the health of your soil. So if I'm getting nutrients from kitchen scraps and from yard waste and from horse manure and from sticks and all that kind of stuff, those are all different sources of compost that and really add a lot of nutrients into your soil. And that's something that has been something very interesting to me lately, is really taking care of soil health, understanding soil health and how to feed it, because really the success and the failure in the garden, I really think, depends on your soil health. So that's what we have to fill this raised bed. So as you can see, we have a grass layer on top of this soil. And this is just grass clippings from mowing my lawn. And the reason I did this is I find that soil really doesn't like to be exposed. It does much better if it has some sort of covering or something planted in it. And so if I have a bed that's going to sit empty for a little while, I like to cover it or to plant something in it like a cover crop, so that there's something constantly protecting that soil and all of the beautiful little living things that you can't see inside that soil. So to plant in something like this, it's really quite simple. I would just move back the grass, plant in the soil, and then cover it back over. I also find that mulching my beds up with grass like this really help with water retention. It helps to keep the soil moist and not dry out so fast. It creates a really nice blanket too that kind of just keeps in heat whenever it starts to get chilly, or keeps the soil cool whenever it starts to get really hot. So I like to mulch mine with grass mulch. Some people will disagree with me. If you don't want to use grass mulch, another great alternative is straw, because straw is a little more dried out. One thing with grass mulch that I will say is you want to let your grass clippings dry out in the lawn before you put them on your beds. If you take your grass clippings when they're still bright green and wet, it can really mess with your plants. So just make sure that you let that grass dry out, turn a little bit brown and dry, and then you can go ahead and top your beds with it. So today we're going to be planting some strawberries in our Ollie garden. These are strawberries that I had in a different part of the garden, and I just dug them up a few minutes ago, and we're going to go ahead and transplant these into the Ollie garden. So here I have a strawberry plant that has actually sprouted a little baby, and we can go ahead and just pull these two strawberry plants apart, which I will show you here. They just pull pretty easily apart, and then you have two separate strawberry plants. To plant strawberries, we want to make sure that we keep the crown of the plant above the soil. So we will obviously bury the roots, and then where that crown of the plant is, we will keep that above the soil. Hey guys, Editing Brittany here. I'm just popping in to close off this video. I'm sorry about all the audio issues, but that's just kind of how it works whenever we have electronics and things. I actually thought about just scrapping this entire video and shooting something else for today, but I decided that there's too much good information in this video to just completely scrap it and start over, so we're just doing the best that we can with it. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I will also be linking the original video for the Ollie garden in the description below, so go check that out if you're interested in a metal raised bed garden. The Ollie garden is awesome. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one.